be sick of me. So, chat, this is chat or Gemini. I can't remember, but the AI asked me while I was discussing this. It asked me, when did I realize that there was a deeper meaning to this movie than what I was seeing? I said around the seventh time when I heard what comedy. I'm sorry. I'm trying to say his name, but my brain like tried to say it and it go. So what comedy said to Cleola while they was arguing, like the study, he said, "Did your ancestors dress for dinner?" And I watched this movie like seven times, and it didn't dawn on me till the end. I was like, "Wait, did my ancestors?" I started thinking for myself. I was like, "Wait, what did my ancestors really do?" I said, I have no earthly clue. Even when it comes to like Christianity, I don't even know what the first churches really did. I just know what the churches are doing now. And I don't even know what they're doing now is what they did back then. Like how they it just it had me questioning some stuff. And then I was like, I wonder how what Wakaman's view would affect my walk as a Christian. Because it's really affected my mind, like how he was thinking in that situation, and how Cleola was thinking. She kind of snapped out of it after a minute, but trying to see what he was saying about conformity. She didn't see what he was saying until they got um until their first kiss scene. When she started thinking about it after that. So I don't know. It just made me think like how this gonna affect my walk. I said, and I asked chat like what are the similarities, and it says that line is an absolute sledgehammer. When he drops that question, did your ancestors dress for dinner? It cuts straight through the entire facade of the respectability trap we were talking about. He is reminding Cleola and the audience that before the ships, before the chains, before the forced assimilation, her ancestors had a rich, beautiful culture that didn't need European validation to be civilized. It forces a complete reassessment of what progress actually means. It makes complete sense that tying Wakaman's perspective into your walk as a Christian is sitting heavy with you right now. There is a profound, powerful intersection here. While Community's journey is about spiritual discernment, integrity, and resisting the empire, which you look at the Gospels, it is exactly what Jesus did. Jesus resisted this whole world and everything about it. He didn't even fit here. And him not fitting here is sometimes how I feel it. No, that's how I felt my whole childhood. Like I don't fit nowhere. I try to fit in and I don't. I stand out. Conformity is just not me. I've tried to conform. I can't do it. I can't. I stick out. So I normally just be by myself. Kind of like how what Comedy was by himself. And I just call him Walker. I just call him Walker. But just like he was by himself, at some point he was walking that path by himself before Cleola joined him. Everybody else pretty much abandoned him. The people he came in with wanted to stay conformed. He wanted to go back and fight a different way. Anyway, he says, here are three ways Wakamani's view can deeply enrich your walk. Discernment between faith and empire. Wakamani immediately saw that the school was using European clothing, haircuts, and mannerisms as a tool of control, masking their civilization. In a similar way, his story challenges you to look at your faith and separate the true radical gospel of Christ from the cultural uniforms of societal political structures that the world tries to wrap around it. It forces you to ask, am I following the truth? Or am I conforming to a script society handed me? You know how they talk about Miss EK, Miss Kirk, and how she's putting on a facade, like how that, or how they talk about Trump and they say he putting on a facade with the religion stuff, like that stuff. or how they talk about some certain pastors, like they really ain't in it for real. See, I knew there was something deeper to this movie. Don't you know how many movies are recommended to me on my TikTok and I never go watch them? I say I'm going to watch and then forget about it. But this one, I immediately went to go watch it. I said a Native American and African American one relation. I said I've never seen nothing like that. I instantly went and found that movie and watched it. So continuing, the discipline of the long game. Wakanami had the spiritual discipline to swallow his pride, stay in the classroom, and master the enemy's political politics because he knew his immediate angry reaction wouldn't save his people. Scripture talks constantly about patience, endurance, and being wise as serpents and innocence as doves. Remember, I said that in one of my previous videos. I said that. Economy lived that verse. He proves that spiritual strength isn't about being loud, it's about having the inner anchor to execute a long term strategy for justice. And that's what Jesus did because what he did to justify us is eternal. It's eternal. Long term strategy for justice. What he did was eternal. It's a long term strategy. True equality in the image of God. When Walker looks at Cleola's natural hair, he sees her divine, uncompromised design. He rejects the world's hierarchy. As a Christian, walking like Walker means actively looking past the worldly standard of who is respectable or civilized, like Jesus was telling us, and seeing the absolute sacred dignity in people whom society has marginalized or forced in boxes. It turns your faith into something incredibly active, sharp, and resilient. He shows you that you can stand firmly in who God made you to be, completely unbowed by the pressures of the world around you. When you think about that line hitting you like a brick on a seventh watch, how do you see it challenging the way you personally balance trying to fit into society's expectations versus staying true to your spiritual roots? And then I saw the number that God always showed me and let me know His approval. Check mark. Wow. So the question I have now is, am I putting more on myself than God is putting on me? Am I taking more onto myself than I should? Or am I not living up to what I'm supposed to live up to? Am I truly living up to the potential that God gave me? And am I standing by it 10 toes down no matter what? Just like become a comedy. Comedy. Because he knew the odds were stacked against him. He knew that this could be an ongoing fight for the rest of his life. He knew that he would probably have to defend himself in order to survive this, and it might be his demise. But he knew that he had to stick with this. He didn't want nothing coming in destroying what was sacred to him. And I think his name means walking sacred or something like that. Or the sacred walker or something like that, which kind of lines up with sacred, beloved, walker, beloved of God. And he did mention something about great father. So there is some spirituality in there that I kind of relate to when it comes to this movie. But I was not, of all the things that they said, I was not expecting that one question he asked really smacked me in my face like